Hello and welcome to episode 294 of my podcast all about knitting and crochet and my yarn shop here in Wiesbaden, Germany. I'm Kiko and today is October 27th, 2025. And as promised, I'm wearing my new mystery knit-along cowl party, a Halloween party by Stephanie Lotvin, also known as Telly Bean Knits. And I've tried to put it in a way that most of the main motifs are visible. So on this side, you can see the guests or the cats who wear pumpkin costumes. And here the guests who dressed up as little ghosts. And the skeletons, I think, were decoration for the party, but those could also be costumes. I once made my son a costume that looked like a skeleton, where I drew the skeleton myself onto his little suit that I had sewn long time ago. Anyway, so this is the cowl. I don't think it's a mystery anymore, even though it's not Halloween yet. But this is the closest that I could get with my video to Halloween. So this is what I'm wearing today. And let's show the whole thing. So now you can see the lace edging on the end and how different it looks now that it has been washed and blocked. And I also think that the motifs are a lot clearer now. The stitches are more even now that this has been washed and blocked. Oh, want to see the inside? This is the beginning and end of round where I wove in most of the ends. And this is just the normal floats. And this is the whole thing in its whole glory. And I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy I chose the blue colors with the black and white, and also the orange just makes sense with pumpkin pattern things in there. And I'm really happy with it. And I chose to wear it with my black cardigan. The pattern's called Hitofure. It's a Japanese pattern where you can knit the whole cardigan with one strand of yarn if it's long enough. Back when I knit this one, I used the alpaca yarn by Wollerödel, where I used to work. But it's a DK weight alpaca yarn, and it's, I think, quite similar to the DK alpaca that Hansa Farm sell, and they actually sell it on cones. So you could actually knit the whole cardigan in one go without ever having to cut the yarn. You only have two ends to weave in if you do it that way. Back when I knit this cardigan, I think I used 9 or 10 balls of yarn, so I had a lot of ends to weave in. It has this nice lace pattern, that's why I'm wearing a light colored blouse underneath so that you can see it. And it has this really interesting construction which makes you knit it all in one piece and all in one go. And I really like it. And I've been planning to knit another one for ages. And I also have some yarn lying around that I want to use. So maybe one day I'll get round to doing that. Yeah, as I said, the cardigan I knit when I was still working at Wollerödel, so that's many years ago. And the cowl I just finished 1.5 weeks ago. So it was a finished object last week, and now I had the chance to wash and block it. And and if I just throw it on like this, most of the motifs get obscured, but that's okay. It's the most important thing is to keep me warm, and if people want to see the motifs, I can always show them, so that's okay too. Yeah, so much to what I'm wearing. Then on to finished objects. I have one finished project and one finished object where the project itself is not finished. Now, first to the finished object and finished project, and that's my baby socks that I've been mostly knitting, this time crocheting this year. So every month I wanted to release a tutorial video on how to knit socks with different patterns and different ideas. And I know I'm behind on the English translations. I think I haven't published the October video yet. But I will do it at some point, and I will also make sure that for November and December I will translate everything. But I think up until September I should have made all the English versions of the tutorial videos. And I always knit or crochet one of the socks in preparation, and then I use the second one, I make that in front of the camera. So this is the November pattern. It's a crochet granny hexagon, and it's very simple to do. I already have a different video where I show how to crochet a granny hexagon. There I made a cardigan out of it. Now it's going to be a sock. I also show how I crochet this little toe, and I show how to crochet a rib pattern. So a crochet rib is different to a knitted rib in that it is less elastic, but it kind of looks like a rib pattern, so I still like it for edges on things. And it's not very difficult. It's just front post and back post stitches, but I still wanted to show how to do those. And then for December, I had the idea to knit socks with 2 strands of yarn so that they are quicker to knit. And because in December people don't have so much time usually because of the holidays and things, people tend to be very busy. So I thought we'll just do warm socks with 2 strands of yarn. But then I thought, I'm not really showing anything new. We've already had socks with 2 strands of yarn in February where we used mohair yarn instead of 2 strands of sock yarn, but it's basically the same, and I wasn't going to show a new pattern or anything. So there is one little idea that I have that I may still film to have an extra, but I also wanted to make a pair of socks because I want to use those socks that I made for the videos as an advent calendar. So I needed a pair of socks for December. So I actually sat down and I knit a little baby sock in sort of the same size as all the other ones with 2 strands of yarn, casting on 20 stitches and then doing a little ribbing and then just knit a little sock. And I checked how long it takes me. And then I sat down in front of the camera and I knit the second one. And all I do in this video is I knit the complete sock. So I show you the yarn, the needles, and then I do a slip knot and I do another one because the end was too short. And then I just knit the complete sock in front of the camera until I finished the toe, and then I weave in the ends, and then I stopped the camera. And I'm not saying anything because I'm not doing anything new. I'm not explaining anything. And I'm not quite sure whether that kind of video is going to be interesting for anybody. And I was thinking of maybe putting some music to it that people can turn on or turn off as they like. So I'm not quite sure what to do about this video, but that was basically my December idea. And maybe I'll do a very short video with the other idea that I'll talk about once I know that it's going to happen. And but so I had my 12th pair of baby socks so I can finish the advent calendar for my son. And then we'll see which video I'm going to publish. Okay, so that's the finished project. And then the other finished object, but not finished project, is one of the mystery gnomes that Sarah Shearer designed for this month, and it's Gnumpkin. And all the clues have been revealed, so I'm not quite sure whether it's still a mystery or not, but I'm going to show Gnumpkin now. If you don't want to see him yet, then look away now. But this is my Gnumpkin. And I think he's so funny. So last week I told you that I hadn't put enough stuffing in yet. So I wanted more stuffing to go in there before I finish him off. And with finishing off, I mean these to form this. And once I did form this, I realized I probably put too much stuffing in. But by that point, I'd already closed the bottom. So I didn't want to open that again. And I thought he'll just stay this stuffed. And in a way, it does look very funny. And then the last clue was the nose and the beard. That wasn't a big surprise. It was just interesting to see how she would knit or how she designed the nose and the beard. I like the way this looks, and I think it looks very organic and it looks very fitting. And I'm really happy with how he came along. And so I'm not showing him anymore in case you were looking away. But I will now go on to my works in progress. And instead of starting with the socks, I'm going to continue with Gnettle, the other gnome, which is in the same pattern. And only looks a little different. So now I'm going to start showing things again. And this is again clue 1. So I've shown that before, but I wanted to show it again because for clue 1, we used 2 of the 3 colors that we needed for Gnettle. And the color that I'm using for the feet down here is the same color that was going to be used for the hat. And now that I've knit Gnumpkin and I know how much yarn I need, I was pretty sure that this color would not be enough. So this is the leftover yarn that I picked as this color. And also after I saw the finished Gnettle, I decided a black hat would really look nice, but I didn't want to switch to only black and I didn't want to re-knit the clue 1. So I decided I was going to stripe this color that I picked with black. And I thought I was going to do these helix stripes where you knit one round with one color and then the next round with the other color. But you don't do a beginning and end of round, but you just knit those spirals sort of chasing each other. But what I hadn't really thought about is the fact that she uses slip stitches. So I'm going to show something. Oh, I was showing things anyway. So these are slip stitches. And if you do them in one color, it's not really very obvious, but it just helps to make this look more organic, I think. And now I'm showing the beginning of Gnettle, the beginning of clue 2. And I'm actually striping the 2 colors and I'm also slipping the stitches. And because I started with the black, I'm always slipping the black stitches, which gives it a completely different look from what I expected. But I really, really like it. So I was so surprised to see how this came out, and I just can't wait to keep knitting, but it does take me a lot of concentration. And you can see the number of stitch markers I have hanging off of it, and now I've already increased a few stitches. If you can imagine having these few stitches and having all these stitch markers. I just didn't have small ones close by, and I was too lazy to get up, so I used the big ones, which I really love a lot. But this is really exciting and I'm really looking forward to finishing it. Ideally, I would finish it this month, but practically I don't think I will. So I have one finished gnome for this month so I can take part in the Year of Gnomes. And it doesn't really matter to me if this one isn't finished in October and I won't be able to take part in the prize-winning stuff. Not with him, just with the other one or with her, so that's okay. Yeah, I'm thinking of her as her and the other one is a him, but that's just my idea. Yeah, so this is the beginning of Gnettle and I can't wait to continue knitting on her. Now to the socks. I have finally finished the main part of his socks by folding this over and sewing the stitches to the sock itself. So both socks are mostly done. All I need are the heels, and these are afterthought heels, so I can take this contrast color out anytime I like, and I can knit the heels. But I think I will start her socks first because I just really want to start with them. So maybe I'll do all 4 heels one after the other when I finished her socks. Maybe I'll do his heels at some other point. I don't know yet. And the next sock are the Merino socks that I'm knitting for a friend of a friend. And I finished the leg part of that sock. So I'm doing a very simple pattern of 2 rounds. No, I did the ribbing in knit 2 purl 2. Then I did 2 rounds of knit stitches and then 2 rounds of knit 2 purl 2. And I keep alternating that. And for the front of the leg and the top of the foot, I will just continue in that pattern. But on the back of the sock, I've already done several rounds of just knit stitches to visually elongate the heel. I'm doing a short row heel, and I quite like to stop with the pattern before I actually start the heel because I just like the way this looks, and I also think it fits nicely that way. So I have a lot of heels in front of me. So his socks need heels. I'm at the beginning of the heel for this sock, and also for the socks that I'm knitting for my husband out of this 6-ply yarn by Opal. I decided this is long enough for the leg of the sock. It's not very long, but then he doesn't insist on very long socks. He just wears them as house shoes, and I think the most important thing for him is that they're long enough so they stay on, and that should definitely do the job. So I did a knit 1, purl 1, rib, and then I changed to knit 3, purl 1, and I made sure that one of the purl stitches from the ribbing go down into the sock. And I really like, I usually prefer the knit 2, purl 2 pattern, but to change into knit 3, purl 1, I think it looks nicer with the knit 1, purl 1 rib. And now I've decided this is long enough. And for this sock, I did not stop the pattern before I start the heel, because I'm going to keep knitting this pattern into the heel, even though it's a short row heel. I did that before, I think, for my socks and maybe for my sister's sock. And I quite like doing that as well. So yeah, another heel I have to knit. So that's all the socks for now. And now we come to the one new cast on that I have. So I have one finished project and one new cast on. It's not too bad. And I am knitting this for another friend. Some of you may remember that I knit a Stephen West shawl out of brushed alpaca yarn at some point in green and browns and beige colors that were completely not my colors. But this friend who likes these autumn colors, she's expecting a baby, so I wanted to knit something for her. And because she likes these autumn colors, I chose this yarn out of the Schafpate series, and I thought that should make a nice baby cardigan for her baby. And also my sister knit a baby blanket out of bright colors with orange and yellow and blue and green, and I thought they sort of go together. But then a friend of mine started knitting a baby cardigan where you hold the yarn doubled. And I really like that as well. So I decided to not only use this yarn, but I will hold it double with the yellow so that it goes nicely with the blanket that my sister knit. And then I can marl the yarn. And the pattern is called Melange Baby Jacket, and it's by Grelina Free or Grelina Fry. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. I'm not sure where she's from, but it's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it uses 2 strands of 4-ply sock yarn held together, and it starts with the sleeve. And the funny thing is, I looked at the pattern and just the yarn and needle and things, and so I said to my friend, instead of doing a gauge swatch, you could just knit the sleeve. And then I wanted to look how to start the sleeve, and I realized that the pattern actually starts with the sleeve. So that's really, really good. And that's what I did. So I started knitting the first sleeve, and I like the way the colors come together. I was a bit surprised that it stripes so clearly. I shouldn't have been surprised because the yarn sort of shows that you get clear stripes, and also the picture of the sock shows that the sock's going to be stripy. And of course, if you hold the yarn double with a solid color, you will still see the stripes. But it's not bad. It's just a little different from what I expected, and it looks different from the cardigan that my friend is knitting, but that should be okay. And the cardigan is worked in a way that you do the 2 sleeves up until the armhole, and then you knit the front and back to the same space, and then you put all the stitches on one needle and you knit the yoke. And I think the button band is knit as you go. So when you finish, I think you just finish off with the neck band, and then all you have to do is sew on the buttons and weave in the ends, I think, and close the gaps underneath the arm. That's something you have to do. Okay, so that's a new project. I will try and finish it fairly quickly. The baby's due sometime in November, so still a bit of time, and I don't have to have it finished the day it's born, so that's fine. Yeah, so that was the one new project I have for today. Then I'll quickly show you the crochet chain that I'm crocheting at the moment. So I've added to the ball of yarn. It may not look a lot bigger, but it is a bit bigger. So this is the end that I want to start to crochet with. this is the end that I want to continue crocheting the chain, and maybe this week I'll get to actually start my project. And one of the other crochet projects that I worked on are the little turtles that I showed you last week. So I was crocheting little baby turtles that you can play memory with a little student of mine. So I have the 3 little ones that I showed you last week, and I crocheted 6 more of those colorful bellies. So you need 2 of each color so that you can play memory. So I have the pink one, the yellow ones, and 2 red ones. And I haven't gotten around to finishing the rest of the baby turtles yet. But then my little student came back and she wanted to crochet the mama turtle because she's finished 14 of the babies. So she's incredible. And then, so together we started crocheting the head of the mama turtle. That's the first thing that you do. You crochet this part twice. Then you put the eyes and you stuff it and you crochet the 2 pieces together. So this is mama turtle's head. And then I started crocheting the mama turtle's tummy, which is all in one color. You don't have to have a different color for the mama. And then what you do is you crochet the belly and then you crochet the top, but both are crocheted flat. You're not crocheting like a dome kind of thing. And then you crochet the feet and you sew on the head, and I think you crochet a little tail, and then you crochet the 2 pieces together except for the bit at the back of the turtle. You leave that open and you sew on a button, and I think it's not a tail that you crochet. Maybe it's like a loop to close the mama turtle, because then you can put all the babies inside, and that's how you form the mama turtle. And that's so funny. So I hope to finish that at some point. My little student, she already finished her mama turtle. It's amazing. Yeah, so that's that. And then there's one more mystery knit along that I am working on at the moment, and that's the Mystery MusiKal by Stephen West. And I am lagging behind a lot, but that's normal for Stephen West knit-alongs. So also with Stephen West Mystery, all the clues have come out, and you could have a look at the finished shawl if you wanted, but I know not everybody has done that. So I'm showing what I have now. You already know clue 1, and I finished last night. I finished clue 2. So this is the smaller bit, and then this is where the increases were, and where with the short rows we get wider stripes. And now you can see that I knit every color 3 times. So those 3 colors have all 3 stripes, and then the main color, or the soloist, the blue, is in between each of the colors. I really like this pattern, and I'm quite happy with the colors that I chose. The only thing that I'm not too happy about is that my main color, my soloist, doesn't really show at all. So with clue 1, you can really only see it from the back. This is my main color, and here it's always in between the stripes. So in a way, it does appear more often, but the stripes are so small that you hardly see the color. So this to me looks like a red, yellow, green shawl with a tiny bit of blue in between. Blue doesn't look like the main color at all. But anyway, so now I'm showing the beginning of clue 3. So for clue 3, you have to go back to your clue 1. And this was the beginning of clue 1. This was the very first motif that we did. And then on one side of that, you start knitting clue 3. And for clue 3, we add little, what are these shapes called? So you have, at the edge, you have triangles. So it starts off with one of the triangles, actually with my main color. And then you have this, I think it's a rectangle in another color. And then I went back to the color, to my main color, but this time I held mohair with it. So I'm will put mohair every now and then. I might use some glitter yarn if I find some in blue every now and then. And so now this was the second stripe, and then the next one will be added here, and then in a different color, and then I think I'll go back to the green and the blue, and then we'll work our way up, I think all the way to here. So I think in the end this whole edge will be knit on, and then in the end this is sort of going to be the upper part of the shawl. So that was quite a surprise. I really like that. That was not obvious in the beginning, and I really like that. I'm not too fond of having to cut the yarn again every 10 minutes. But on the other hand, with these little rectangles, one good thing is that you finish one fairly quickly, and then it's like, oh, let's just do one more and one more. So I hope that will keep me motivated to get me through this bit fairly quickly. And that's only part 1 of clue 3, and there'll be another part to clue 3. And after that, clue 4, which looks really nice again. Right now I'm thinking about changing up the color placement a little bit to maybe get my main color into that more, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So we'll see. Maybe I'll just do it the way he's written it and just accept the fact that it's not a very blue shawl. Which would be fine too. I do like all the colors, so that's fine. So that was that. Then my biggest project at the moment, and probably for some time to come, is my beautiful Mandala Madness blanket. And I managed to crochet 2 rounds onto that blanket. So last week I showed you this sort of darker turquoise round, and then I put 1 round in this blue and then 1 round in the lighter turquoise, and along here it's just single crochets. This bit is 2 rows of single crochet, so they're very small. Here we have around the blue is a single crochet, and these are half double crochets, so this is a bit bigger than it's here. And then this is where the pattern is happening at the moment. So we have, let me see, we have this bit is only single crochets again, but we have those half round shapes where the stitches are bigger, so we see more of the color, and also here and here. Let's show the whole thing. Okay, here we go. This is what the pattern looks like. It's getting really difficult to show everything. Let's quickly show the back of the blanket like this. So at the moment, it's actually not that different, I think, between the front and the back. But yeah, I'm still enjoying the many changes and the different rows and having to do something different all the time. I just find it really interesting. Okay, and that brings me to the knit along for the socks with my tutorial videos. And for this month, I decided to do a 2-color sock. And now I can show you both colors. I think 2 weeks ago I showed you this color, and last week I showed you that color. And that's what they look like together. And last week I think I had the ribbing done and then forgot the pattern to bring the pattern home. And I finished the slip stitch pattern that I knit from one of my books with socks with a slip stitch pattern, and I've actually started the heel. So this is another heel I have to knit. So I have like 5 heels that I should be knitting, which is crazy. 2 of them are afterthought heels, so it doesn't matter when I knit them, but 3 heels I actually need to knit so that I can go on with the sock. So I'll do a dark blue heel, and then when I finish that, I will do a proper color work pattern for the foot of the sock, and then a dark blue toe. And I'm really interested to see how the slip stitch pattern and the color work pattern, how they will go together. I hope it will look nice. Yeah, so that's it. That was everything that I knit and crocheted last week. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!